What is up, everybody? My name is Dane Thompson, and welcome to a different style edition of What's Happening. This is the drag race edition, and the reason we're doing it is because I went to the drag strip and I got lots of time slips, had lots of fun, but I didn't get a ton of video, and I failed as a YouTuber just in general. Well, pretty much the entire day was a shit show. So what we're gonna do is kind of recap here on kind of what went down leading up to it. I do have footage, but most of it is in car. I didn't really bother anybody to get outside footage. And then I do have a few, I can show you guys a few runs, but for the most part, it's not consistent, so I don't have every run with every slip. And since the day was just basically kind of crap on wheels, we could just recap and I can show you a couple runs, show you the best of it, and then kind of just show you what happened toward the end of the day. And it all happened today, so I figured at least my memory kind of serves me decently, and we can kind of recap. So, the previous video to this, I was thrashing, and I had some massive suspension, which are like eBay control arms. I bought those in the braces quite a while ago, before I even had the turbo and all that. I was going to leave my setup alone, we were going to get into suspension stuff. And then I moved the battery, kind of moved weight around, decided to, what else did I do? I just moved the battery, I changed to bigger injectors and we're trying to push it. And then the transmission stopped shifting into low. And then it just all went to hell. So now as the car sits, finally, it has a new turbo. It's Project Chernobyl, so it's 100% hot air, no blow off valve, so we're partying with that. It has, what else did we do? We took the intercooler off. We moved the battery to the back. It's got Snake Eater Performance 1000 injectors, courtesy of my buddy Reed. He basically re-gifted me his old injectors. He got some bigger injectors. And at this point, I can't even think, I'm so freaking tired. So then we ended up putting new front tires, front runners, some Weld Magnum 2.0s, courtesy of my boy KP Fab and Tune. He hooked me up with those. And we made a bunch of changes trying to move weight around and get the suspension dialed in. And I pulled the transmission out. We went through it. I cut a lip seal. We replaced all that stuff. And then today was the day. We took it all back to the track to see if it would work. Well, last night I figured it would be pretty easy, or yesterday, to put the new control arms in. I'm like, well, I'll just change the control arms, put some bracing in. Hopefully we can kind of hit it hard on the start, you know, get a decent 60. This will stiffen everything up. Well, when I assembled the rear end, there's these long bolts that hold the control arms in, and you can put them one way or you can put them the other way. Well, the way I put them, the direction I put them in when I didn't have backing plates for my brakes on, yeah, so I had to take the wheels, axles, backing plates, then remove that piece, and then put it all back together on both sides, and then I had a seal go bad. If you guys have seen the video on that, it was just a shit show. I was out there all night, you know, from morning till evening, and I didn't get around to a lot of other things I wanted to do to test. But we'd taken it up from the dyno, it made like 650 decent power, so I figured whatever that dyno pull was, we would look it up, we'd just put that tune in the car and leave the power alone, and then play with stuff to make it 60 foot. Well, fast forward, we get to the track, and I put the tune-up that I have an advanced table that pulls timing on the hit, so I don't just blow those little 235s off, and then it ramps it back in. Well, I started with what I used last time, which was Roadkill zip tie drags, beginning of the year, complete different setup, but I figured the timing will be kind of where it needs to be to kind of get the whole party started, and then we can just adjust it from there. Well, as it turns out, the very first hit, you guys can see how that goes here. We made the first hit. It was just a dog, and I was like, oh, it's cool, A to B. I was super flustered because I rolled up expecting to get all buckled in and sit behind somebody, and they waved me onto the track. So I was trying to get all my crap ready, had the jitters, and it was fine. So we just went down the track, and I figured, okay, and I ran like a 7.3. So it's a 7.3 6. Oh, and the other thing that was annoying today was, I don't know if you can see that or not, but the mile an hour was sporadic at best. It would show one lane or the other lane or not at all. Like this one is not at all. And then since I didn't have good video, I had buddies there telling me stuff, and I thought somebody was shooting, but I didn't give anybody that task. So I have a few videos, like I said, but nothing like lighting up the billboards and all the other stuff. So you can take my word for it, or you can, you know, just think that I'm full of crap. But I don't even remember the mile an hour on this. It was a 7.36. The 60 foot was terrible. It was a 2.07. And I was like, oh, that's a good starting point. So we made some adjustments from there. And then I figured, you know, we'll just kind of leave it where it's at, because I fumbled and I didn't sit on the line, all that. So we went back, we hit it again. And all right, so then the next pass, second pass up, we kind of left stuff alone. Got in the car, hit it again. It went down a little bit. It was a 1.960 with a 7.1. And then mile an hour on this one says 105, but I don't think that was mine. I think that was the other guy. And he ran a 6.6 with a 1.560, so he pretty much smoked me. Then the third pass, we got in the car, and what I did is I was like, well, we'll just bring the two-step up a little bit more, so RPM, and then timing. So basically the entire day was just an RPM and timing battle, and I was making small increment changes, but the car kept getting worse as the day progressed. So pretty much the best run I had all day is this one here. This is where I raced some guy in like a Maliboom. Looks like a pretty nice little street car. It's actually a really nice car. And he pretty much beat me the entire race until he didn't. So this is my favorite run of the day. This is pretty much the highlight of the video. So check this out.
Got him. Nice.
Well, that was pretty much the highlight of my whole day, right there. The guy thought he won, and we just walked right around him right at the big end. He basically beat me the whole entire race. It was pedal fest, shit show, and then right at the finish line, he's, nope. It's like the old guy from that commercial. Oh, you almost had it, you know, with the dollar. But so that was fun, and then pretty much progressively after that, the car just kind of wasn't doing stuff, and then the tune looked good. It was blowing a bunch of hot air in there. We were still making boost. We were upwards of like 20 pounds of boost on the thing, but the fuel stayed cool. Not cool, actually the fuel was probably on fire, but the fueling stayed good. We were running like 11.2 fuel ratio, and then my tuner was like, yeah, when you get out the track, it's probably gonna lean up a bit. So I didn't check the percentage correction on there, but the Holly kept it all in line, all in check. I mean, toward the end of the day, I wasn't really worried about that. I was worried more about trying to leave. So progressively, we started hearing a tick, and I thought it was possibly exhaust. And even right now, the car's actually sitting outside. I don't know what it is, but it progressively got worse all the way to the end of the day, where I raced Jan's Towing. It's not a very fast car. The guys are all the time, very cool though. And he red lit like a son of a bitch trying to beat me. But in the video, like looking back, I mean, the thing just sounded like it was just dogging and dying on itself. I did change the tune. We got back to the pits. I had Reed we were looking at it, and it's hard to hear because my car is just super loud, especially with the hood exhaust now. It's ungodly, but there is an audible tick, and I was like, if I had a muffler, that thing would be so loud you probably wouldn't want to turn the engine on, because you can't even hear yourself think next to those exhausts, and yet you can still kind of hear a tick. So it's gotta be pretty spicy. And then it started breaking up, and I'm like, eh. I looked at the log, and the air fuel was kind of jumping around a bit, which is telling me it's, you know, I don't know if it's blowing spark out. We had the gap so tight on those things from the dyno. And then the other thing too is I've got a hodgepodge of plugs, so I should probably do my due diligence, get a fresh set of plug wires. I'm sorry, a hodgepodge of plug wires, not plugs. The plugs were new, and then we downloaded with them. I've got random plug wires that I've never changed, and then I lost one, so I picked one up off of my desk or whatever from like these junkyard motors that I sell, and we plugged it on. I laughed about it. The car still made 650 with all those things on there, but because of this really tight gap, it could be the resistance in the wire kind of went up. Maybe the gap isn't, you know, I'm compensating with plug wire gap, or plug, see, I can't talk. Yeah, plug wire gap, that's the gram, with spark plug gap because my plug wires are going bad. You can tell that I'm tired. I've been up for a long time today. But all in all, I got to go to the track. I had a great day. We kind of tried to troubleshoot some stuff. I was getting in there trying to tune some things and turn it around. As far as power goes though, with Project Chernobyl, I do not have a slip, so you can take my word at face value if you will. This is the only one that I do have, and then I have it on video. This is when I raced that guy with the Malibu. It's a 107, so it's a 1960 with a 107 trap speed. And then for a few of these other ones, I was hitting a 109 trap speed. From what I was told. Again, I don't have the video or footage, but even then, 107, the fastest one I had before this at Irwindale was 105, and I ran a 6.8. So I went 2 mile an hour faster, but a crummy 60 foot and a 7.2. So we're making steam, even though it's pumping in super hot IATs. And then I can't really gloat or say it was a success because my car is ticking. So we will find out what it is. It does not sound like a knock at all. There's no smoke coming out. And then my theory on the smoke in the dyno video is that cap. I did replace the radiator cap so I didn't have any issues with it. So I think that cap, it was pressurized and that cap was letting go. And I think it was kicking coolant into the turbo. And then on decel it was burning all that coolant off when the cap was, you know, making a splash. So it didn't smoke on decel or anything at all today. And I was worried about that from the dyno. I thought we'd popped that thing a couple different times, but it still runs. It does have a tick. I will bring you guys along when we find out what it is. At first I was thinking it was exhaust, so I was trying to ignore it, but like I said, the car progressively got worse to the point to where I hope it's just a lifter collapsing, but then I hope that didn't beat my cam up. Because if it did, then I'm looking at a cam and lifters, which nobody wants to do, right? That's not fun, because I have a $100 engine. It sucks to put a cam and lifter in it, but I guess what we'll do is we'll figure it out. Maybe we can change it or whatever, but I like the sloppy stage too. I like the chooch and the chop. Maybe I should get a little more mild cam for my own sanity to kind of corral this bad boy, but we will see. I'll pull it apart. We will play detective on this thing, and I'm just happy to go to the track. I'm happy that the car's kind of in one piece. It looks killer on the new shoes. Thank you again to KP Fab and Tune. If you're in SoCal, you need to give him a call, make an appointment. He's appointment only. He's always busy. He is the man, and his new shop, new dyno, is primo. Thank you again for letting me use the dyno when I went over there, which is funny because I didn't even want to ask him. Like, I'll just let him play with the new toy. And he's like, "This is how you work it. Here you go." I'm like, "All right, well, here we go." I'm glad I didn't make a mess of his new dyno. And then thanks to Reed and Derek and everybody for coming out. So it was, all in all, my buddy Jim was there. We had a bunch of people. I wish the car went a little quicker, but that's drag racing. You know, even if you went 3 seconds, if you're in top fuel, the guy went 299, you'd be like, "Oh man, I wish my car was faster." But ultimately, came home, it's in one piece. It has a little bit of a tick. We'll deal with it. So we'll kind of dissect. I can't even think right now. We'll kind of dissect that as we go. Not terribly worried to jump in, you know, elbows deep. We're going to get back on the Twinnebago, and then I'll kind of keep an eye open for the next, like, test and tuner reason for me to run the car, and then we'll kind of get back into it and back on it. But I'm going to kind of keep an eye out for lifters and stuff, because I think the thing is something. It did something. We're going to have to find out. But we'll throw more used junk at it, and then we'll turn the boost up, because I got some duty cycle on the injectors, and that thing's going to come apart at some point. But if it lasts for a little while, I think I'm going to say it's a success, even with the tick. I don't care what you guys think. I think it's still fun. They were pumping 300-degree air in there and trapping at 109 in the 8th. it's not too bad. It's faster than it's been, so we'll keep pushing it, see what happens, and hopefully we can all kind of learn something. Other than that, I am tired, and it'll be on to the next video, the next round. I hope you guys enjoyed this, even though it's kind of a hodgepodge. Sorry about that. Next time, I will designate somebody cameraman, because unfortunately I can't film and drive at the same time. I guess I could, but I probably wouldn't do very well at either one. You guys, I'm out.